Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. It's the weekend, you've made it through the work week. Congratulations. I hope everyone is having a fantastic weekend. I have my book club this weekend, so that's always like an exciting time for me. I guess that's how you know you're getting older, right? If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment. What do you have to lose? It boosts my algorithm, and as you know, because of that, I have hit 25,000 subscribers, so thank you guys. I so appreciate that. And if you're interested in membership, the link is below, or you can hit the join button. But just so everybody knows, in membership, we have a course that's been there for 3 years. It's called the Starseed course. You may have seen in the community tab, I am writing a book called the Starseed Guidebook, and I am converting that course into a book. It will probably have like an accompanying meditation or something in a video form, but that is going away. That course at the Awaken Your Mind and Higher level is going away October 1st. So just so everybody knows, you can take the course now for $9.99, and then it's going away forever. So if you've ever wanted to figure out, like, because I do put quizzes and whatnot in there, you know, where you come from, where you're going back to, why you do the way, you know, like why you live your life the way you do, why you do what you do, why you think the way you think, your life purpose, you know, why you took that career, that sort of thing. It actually answers a lot of those questions. It's an amazing course, but I really think it's time to make it into a book. And so, sorry that I was, you know, late with coming out with videos this week, but I did just complete my 200-hour yoga teacher certification course. So really excited about that. But I was a little bit too ambitious in thinking that I could make videos and do like 100-question test and write the essay and teach the class and do all it was too much. It was too much. Members, you do have new videos, check it out. And for every level of membership, even the $1.99 level, you guys this coming week are all getting the 7-day Law of One meditation challenge. So because I teach the Law of One, which is from the Rock Collective that I channel, that is 5 texts that you can read. You can read for free on lawof1.info. And because I do believe we are all one, we are all brothers and sisters. We all come from the same source, whatever you want to call it. And so every day you will get a new video and a new practice and a new learning from the Law of One. And I just hope that inspires people to come together. And so if you do want a reading, by the way, I need to just mention this. I don't have many availabilities left for the rest of the year. So go to DianeAquarius.com. My blog also lives there. You will be getting a new one on Sunday. But, you know, on my website, I do offer chances for you to schedule a psychic tarot reading, a private Rahasha channeling, animal communication if you're having an issue with one of your animals. I'm not a substitute for a vet, but if you know, have gone to a vet and, you know, you're kind of like exhausting things and you want to know like what your pet is going through, what they're feeling, what they're thinking, that I'm very good at. And I also do Archangel Raphael channelings too, so check it out. But anyways, let's get into this. So who is excited after watching the DNC for those 4 days? You know, talk about joy, happiness, hope, inspiration, right? Like one speech was better than the next. It was just amazing. It had all that beautiful energy that the RNC didn't have. You know, theirs was about division and separation. I mean, talk about being the opposite of the Law of One. And I mean, granted, they did have the fog machine going. I will give them that. And Hulk Hogan. But, you know, the DNC was just amazing. Now, what I'm focusing on in this video is the speech that really grabbed my attention as a psychic and as someone who teaches about ascension, awakening, enlightenment, Law of One. There was one speech that really stood out that just kind of like blew my third eye open, got my psychic spidey senses going, and that was Bill Clinton's speech. And I'm not saying that it was the best speech, but to me, there was layers and levels and things in there. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you do know that I have always said I do not believe all presidents get the same amount of information, in this country anyways. I'm not going to get into other countries. I mean, they're probably similar, but in this country. And we know that for a fact. I mean, because think about it. If Trump had all that information that, say, the Bushes had, that Clinton had, Obama, Biden, we would all know it. He would have the extraterrestrials, and I think it's Area 54 now, right? We're way past 51. He'd have them out there, mining for gold or something, God only knows. But I do believe Clinton does have a lot of hidden knowledge, and he has a lot of insight, and I think he knows about things that a lot of people don't, even in terms of presidents. Now, I'm not saying that you have to like him, or this isn't about like or dislike, and this isn't about, well, this speech was better. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the layers that were in there, and that's what we're going to get into with this. If you see me looking down, I did write down some direct quotes because I didn't want to misquote him or anything. And one thing I do just want to acknowledge, that I do recognize that Clinton didn't look well. He was looking frail. I mean, his hands were shaking. You could see that. His voice was frail. His face was a lot thinner. It was more sunken in. He's 78. And one thing that I did get was kind of like a psychic flash, that we should appreciate these times now that we can see him standing up, giving a speech, being able to contribute and that sort of thing at this time, because that's not going to last forever, obviously. So I like how right at the beginning, he acknowledged Biden, and he said, George Washington knew that sometimes it was in the best interest of the people to give up power, and he was the first president to do so. And he was the reason that we have the 2 terms. He was the one that said that we should only have 2 terms, and he gave up his power to only serve 2 terms. He said, no, nobody should serve more than the 2 terms, and he gave up power. And he said it helped Washington's legacy, and it'll help Biden's legacy. And I thought that was just a nice little acknowledgement, even though we've had, presidents, as go past that, because it wasn't set in stone at that time. But Washington, our first president, was the first president to also say, yeah, there probably should be term limits, right? We don't want to have a royalty type situation, a monarchy or patriarchy. And I also thought too, this was a pretty good joke. Bill said that, he just turned 78, and out of 4 generations of men in his family, he has lived the longest. And then he made the joke but yet he's still younger than Trump. So I kind of I just thought it was kind of a funny little jab that he made. But I do like how he talked about, we need to make the decision of going backward or forward. And to me, when people ask me, well, do you think, Kamala is going to win or Trump? But what I'm really hearing is, well, Diane, do you think we're going forwards or backwards? Are we heading towards ascension? Are we heading towards awakening, towards enlightenment, towards a better time, to moving up to our heart chakra, right? Going from our solar plexus, where it's all about me, up to a time of love and compassion. No, I think we're moving forward. And I like how he kept talking about these very law of one type things. And, he's like, which president will bring us a brighter future, right? So he's still talking about the future going forward. Who's going to bring us together and bring peace? So uniting us as one. And he emphasized several times, we, the people, we, us, we're all connected. And so I just loved that. which president is going to work together with the people, even the people that didn't vote for them. Because Kamala said right in her speech, even if you don't vote for me, I will still, fight hard for you. So I loved that because, we've never heard that for Trump. If you don't vote for Trump, you're his enemy. And so this is very different. This was not about division. And then he made a funny comment about, Trump's obsession with Hannibal Lecter, which I'm still not quite sure if I fully understand. It is a bizarre, I guess it has to do with people at the border seeking asylum. And Hannibal Lecter was in an asylum, but that's not the proper use of the word. Anyways, I just thought it was a funny joke. But, he talked about how Trump's goal is to divide the US. And he's about me, myself, and I, right? And so that's very much third density. That's what third density is about. Your solar plexus chakra, right? That's your third chakra, third density. And density is just levels of consciousness, levels of awareness. Our pets are second density. They're starting to figure out their ego and their sense of self. And so, true, Trump represents the epitome of third density. And we are at a point where we have to make a choice, right? Which polarity do we go to? Service to self or service to others? To dark or to light? To the future or going backwards? Which one do we go to? And, we have free will. And, that was Clinton's whole point about comparing the two candidates. And he says, Trump belittles others. Well, if we're all one and you're all connected, then how could you ever belittle someone? Because if I am you, you are me, we are connected, we're one, we come from the same source. If I hurt you, then I'm really hurting myself too. It's having that sense of empathy. And Trump just doesn't have it. But Kamala definitely does. Trump just likes to create chaos, doesn't he? Because when you have things that are topsy-turvy and chaotic, then you can just kind of wiggle and worm your way in and do whatever you want. He mentions he always talks about himself. And that joke, what he says about a tenor, when a tenor is warming up and they go, me, 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 me. And it's he goes, that's Trump. And it's so true. And he talked about, how nobody was taking the US seriously, with Biden in office. But yet, Trump had the respect of all the world leaders. But really, it was more of just the dictators, right? It was Putin and Kim Jong-un and people like that. And I loved this. I loved that he said when he was in the White House, there was, no matter how crazy it was, no matter what got thrown his way, what fires he was putting out, there was always something good he could do for someone else. And I loved that, because if we all lived that, wouldn't the world be a better place? And he says, Kamala has joy. And think about it. If you're trying to manifest something and you're just down in the dumps, you're negative, you are being service to self, it's hard to manifest from there. You're not going to manifest anything good. But if you're also trying to go through a spiritual awakening, obtain enlightenment, ascend to fourth density, you have to have high vibrational emotions. It's easy when you're in a state of joy to have spiritual epiphanies, to manifest. And he also said something that really caught my attention. He says, she's inclusive. All one, right back to all one. And he also pointed out too, Trump said you only have to vote this once and then he'll rig it so he's king, right? Now, this is what kind of really caught my attention. Let me just take a sip here. I've been talking all day, making videos. He says, I know these folks. He was talking about the Republicans, okay? He says, I know these folks. Most are really good people, But some of them think they are bound to dominate America politically, economically, and socially. And they have to use politics to do it. And if they have to rig the system to do it, they will. He says, don't underestimate them. And I was like, when he said that, I was like, oh, he knows something. And I'm going to pull some cards on that. Why did he say don't underestimate them? What does he know? Because that's the thing. We know Bill hangs out with all kinds of people, right? We know that about him. I don't think he hides it. And so we know that he's hanging out with some interesting individuals. So what does he know about what they're planning? Why did he say don't underestimate them? And that they're going to try to trigger us to create doubt. He actually gave away like their game plan. I thought that was interesting. He also says something really interesting next, which I'll get to. Seven of Cups. So he knows that they're in the process of planning something. There is something that they're plotting and planning. So he's like, don't underestimate them. And they're not grounded. They're not down to earth as they're doing this. Like their heads are up in the clouds, right? They're getting desperate. Their candidate's losing. His polls are in free fall. His stocks are in free fall. His crowd sizes are in free fall. And the obstacle is, so if you're not familiar with my readings, my first card is my significator, second card is obstacle, third card and beyond is outcome. So challenge. These people, these Republicans, they're trying to go to smoother water, they're trying to paddle their little boat, but they can't get anywhere. They're not going anywhere. They're stuck. And what do stuck people do? When people start feeling trapped, they do crazy things. Self-preservation. Look at that, Two of Swords. They're trying to figure this out. They're coming up with a plan. They're at a crossroads. They're trying to make a decision. Oh, and do they want 45 to be the emperor? Okay, so there's some, not all. Now, mind you, it's not all Republicans, right? Because we saw some of them speak. And we see some of them kind of backing away from their own party, backing away from, 45. But some of them, they don't want a president. Some of these Republicans that Clinton's talking about, they want some kind of dictatorship. This is Six of Cups, is the card of the past. They want to bring us back to olden days, the past, back when we did have, kings and queens and that sort of thing. And they are, Page of Pentacles, willing to throw all their money behind it. So he's saying, watch it. Look, they're plotting, they're planning, and they'll throw money at this. Okay? Because don't forget, he did talk about them rigging the system. Now this, I felt like was a warning. He knows something. He says, Kamala is only human. He was paraphrasing from Obama's speech, which I thought was wonderful, by the way. And she is bound to make mistakes. So he was talking about the period between now and the election day. Okay. Those, like 77 days, I believe it was, from the date he gave it, the speech. So in those days, she's going to make some mistakes. And that's going to try to, the other side's going to try to trigger us. They're going to try to divide us, But think about it. We're not, at this point, we're not even voting for presidency anymore of the country. We're just voting for normalcy. We're voting for, that whole 2025 plan book agenda. Whenever Keenan brought it out, I was like, just seeing it physically was scary. But I felt like, and Obama too, because I think Obama is one of those presidents that knows a lot. they're warning us. She's going to make some mistakes. Like something is going to come out about her, okay? Because she's human. There are no perfect humans, okay? Obama said that. Bill said that. I mean, I think we can all say that and we can all agree upon that. But what we need to do is whenever that comes out, okay, whatever that thing is that they think is such a big deal, we need to stick to our guns, so to speak, and stay strong. I'm going to look at, why did he say, she's only human? Because you have to remember, I'm a psychic. When people say certain things, I can feel like, okay, I feel like he's bracing us for something. He's bracing us. Why did he say this? Okay, because he doesn't want us to lose. 5 of Cups. He doesn't want us to lose. He doesn't want us to be like that character that's like sad and depressed and crying over spilt milk, And he knows something is about to come out that is going to cause, this is 5 of Wands, division, arguing, differences of opinions. And the other side, here comes the devil, is going to use it to their fullest. But we've got this. We're better than this. The Sun card. Of course, too, the Sun card is about enlightenment, right? So we're going to be enlightened about certain things, and maybe there'll be something about her in her past that we don't like, whatever. You know what? I mean, my guess is they will probably try to pull up some case that she prosecuted on that, some people would disagree with. I mean, there's always going to be something with somebody. I mean, I don't really feel like it's personal towards her. I feel more like you could say something negative about anybody if you look hard enough. But yeah, something will come to light. But you know what? We're also ready for the new beginning that the Sun brings. And look at this. This is one of my 2 cards for America, the Empress. And so America will prevail throughout this. But he is warning us. And he also said, there's going to be lots of slips between now and election day that we have to navigate. So he's bracing and preparing us, saying, look, and I really felt like he was one of the few ones that really got into detail about, look, it could get really bad in these next few weeks. Brace yourselves, stay strong. But here's the thing that he said that I love, and this is something that I really try to practice myself. He says, talk to your neighbors. Don't demean them. So, if you have neighbors that are on the other side and you disagree with them, don't belittle them. Don't demean them. You don't win anybody over that way. If you're being cruel and condescending, you're not going to win anybody over. But he also said, but don't pretend that you don't disagree with them. It's okay to speak your mind, but do it with compassion and caring, right? We're moving up to 4th density, loving compassion. Treat them with respect, just the way you would like them to treat you. The golden rule, right? So I really, really liked that. And I really feel like he was getting us ready for the next few weeks. I do feel like, yes, she's going to win, but let's not grow complacent and let's not argue amongst ourselves, most importantly. So in light of the fact I have a dragon course coming out in, here's the thing, in membership this week, let's pick a dragon to finish this up. I will have a new pick a pile coming out, a new podcast, a new vlog this week. Things will get back to normal now that I completed my my 200 hours there with the yoga teacher certification. But hey, you know what? I'm now a certified yoga teacher. I've always, well, I shouldn't say always, for 18 years, I've been certified to teach children yoga, but I've never gotten the adult one. So, all right, here we go. These dragons are all so beautiful. And just ask, What do you need to know right now? What is the universe, your guides? What do they want you to know right now? Do you feel drawn to 1, 2, or 3? And don't overthink it. Number 1, you get this kind of like that typical green dragon, right? And it says, helps you tune in to the secrets of nature. Receive answers and guidance from nature, align with your divine essence. So it may be a really good time for you to be outside in nature, ground yourself in nature. If you can, walk barefoot in the earth, touch a tree, get in the ocean, ground yourself with nature. It can be really therapeutic. Number 2, the golden crested dragon. Isn't he beautiful? Brings you higher love so that you embody the Christ light. Absorb the Christ light, you are protected. Expand your heart and remain 5th dimensional. So you always hear me talk about densities because that's what the Ra talks about. But 4th density and 5th dimension is pretty much the same thing. It's that ascension up, towards, and you can see, right, his heart is like all nice and open, and yes, so same thing. Number 3, the black dragon. Look at him. These cards are so beautiful. They're by Diana Cooper. She makes great meditations too, by the way. She has this beautiful English accent. I could listen to her all day. Cocoons you so that your divine potential grows. Meditate, reflect, undergo a metamorphosis. So time of change, time of transition and transformation for you. So, all right, everybody, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, help my algorithm. Hit the like button, leave me a comment, even if it's just an emoji. Subscribe, you got nothing to lose. Check out my website, dianaquarius.com, and check out membership, and I will see everybody in a few days. Bye, guys.